Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor. Today I'm away from the studio. I'm actually in front of a room full of patriots pouring into people who are ready to fight for faith, family, and freedom in their own communities. It's one of my favorite things I love to do, but I cannot let the day go by without walking with you too. So ahead of time, I sat down and recorded this conversation just for moments like this. I'd love for you to share one concrete thing that you're doing to push back and build something beautiful right where you are. This is part of a movement, and it needs your voice in it. Tonight, I want to take you on a journey. I want to take you on a tour of what we might call the splendors of Christendom, Christian civilization. And when I say that, you'll probably immediately think of, me taking you to scenes in Europe of old, decrepit cathedrals, dusty reliquaries, faded frescoes, the echoes of a faith gone by, preserved in amber for tourists and for art historians. Ugh. That is not what I'm going to show you tonight. I'm going to show you the splendors of Christendom reborn. Reawakened. Not a Christendom of old and nostalgia, reminiscence, but a Christian civilization that's even now rising. And what I hope to show you is that what's actually happening here, when I go to the website of LAPA, this is the way my brain thinks. I see a Lancaster version of this worldwide renewal that's happening. This is a local, say, faction, as it were, of this greater, extraordinary movement. We can get very demoralized, I know, because things can seem very tough out there. Liberal modernism really sowed some deep roots over the course of about 70 to 90 years, the last 70 to 90 years. It's going to take a while for that old rotting tree to finally fall over, but it is rotting and it is dying, and something's being reborn here that should make everyone very, very excited. What we need to recognize is that even the most secular liberal scholars today are openly admitting that we are in the midst of the single greatest religious renewal the world has ever seen. That's a direct quote from Rodney Stark from Baylor University. And what I want to do tonight is I want to show you that worldwide religious renewal in its material form, in its art, its architecture, its music, its liturgies. That's even now going beyond anything the old Christendom could ever have imagined, because it's even going beyond this planet. It's reaching its highest cosmic expressions. So, let's begin. We begin at the twilight of the old Christendom. This is footage from 1896. This is the coronation of Nicholas II, the last Tsar of Russia. This is a time when Russia was the center of worldwide Orthodox Christianity. Over 60,000 churches donned the land, 25,000 chapels, 1,000 monasteries, and 60 seminaries. Moscow referred to itself as the Third Rome after the fall of the First Rome in the 5th century to the barbarians, and then the fall of the Second Rome, which was Constantinople in the 15th century. And Russia saw itself, Imperial Russia, as the place where crown and cathedral united in defending Christendom all the way up to the beginning of the 20th century. And then, October 1917, the Bolshevik Revolution, Minneapolis, no, sorry. It could be immediately upon seizing power, the Bolsheviks launched a bloody purge
of Christianity from Russia. They demolished thousands of churches. By the 1930s, of those 60,000 churches, less than 2,000 stood. Upwards of 200,000 clergy were executed in the course of 20 years. All 1,000 monasteries were closed. Many of them were converted into gulags and concentration camps. If you ever read Alexander Solzhenitsyn's A Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, it's a small book. You can read it in one sitting. It's about a day in the life of a fellow in a gulag. But that gulag was a former monastery. And you see all throughout this book flashes of divine grace. God never left. Religious practices were criminalized, theological education forbidden, church property confiscated. Now, why was it so important for the Bolsheviks to destroy the art, architecture, and music and liturgies of the Orthodox Church? Because they understood that civilization materializes itself through precisely these means: architecture, art, music, liturgy. These are three-dimensional beliefs, as it were. Destroying these wasn't incidental. It was essential to erasing the old civilization and implanting a new one. The Bolsheviks understood that you cannot kill a civilization simply by defeating its armies. You kill it by destroying its art, silencing its music, crushing its architecture. Demolish cathedrals, burn paintings. These eliminated the material forms through which Orthodox consciousness was transmitted over the course of 1,000 years, and without which the Bolsheviks believed Russian Christianity would eventually go extinct.
While Trump unleashes a political reckoning, there is another crisis poisoning every American in some way, shape, or form, even in the comfort of our own homes. I'm talking about the microplastic epidemic. Now, you may have heard about this, but this is pretty shocking stuff. Check this out.
White ones, we've got clear ones.
Tons of microplastics wash ashore all over the world every day. And now for the first time, scientists in the Netherlands have detected microplastic pollution in human blood.
All the microplastics and nanoplastics we are exposed to, we inhale and we ingest, that actually, there's so much plastic that it can even enter our bloodstream.
The Dutch study on blood samples from healthy adults detected tiny plastic particles in 80% of people.
That's right. There's a microplastic crisis poisoning every American in some way, shape, or form. They're in our food, our water, our meats, our proteins. In fact, according to a recent study, we now ingest 6 times more microplastics than in 1990. It's wreaking havoc on our health and on our organ functions, and unfortunately, no one is immune from this. But there is an amazing solution. There's a unique bacterial strain found only in kimchi that's been found to effectively degrade microplastics. In fact, traditional kimchi is one of the world's most powerful superfoods. But let's be honest, it's messy, it's strong smelling, and not exactly easy to eat every single day. So that's why our good friends over at Brightcore created Kimchi One. Now you can get all the benefits of premium fermented kimchi in convenient capsule form. No mess, no taste, no hassle. I've been taking Kimchi One every single day for months now, and gang, I love it. Each capsule delivers over 900 probiotic strains, live enzymes, and antioxidants that help restore balance in your gut. People are seeing improvements in digestion, bloating, regularity, energy, metabolism. Studies show that kimchi even reduces the risk of obesity. Kimchi One is all natural, non-GMO, and 100% made right here in the USA. It's completely dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, so just anyone could take it. I personally love it, and I love knowing that I'm supporting my gut and overall health in one simple step. So if you've been looking for a way to boost your immune system and remove microplastic toxins from your body, this is it. You can get 25% off your order by going to the link below, or For an even better deal, give them a call. My friends at Brightcore would love to chat with you, and they're going to give you 50% off plus free shipping. Call them at 888-597-0233. The first 100 callers to order are going to get a free bottle of vitamin D3. Again, you only get that 50% off and free shipping when you give them a call. So once again, that number is 888-597-0233.
And unfortunately, those Soviet sentiments represent much of the whole of the modern world itself. Because the basic assumption of modernity, being rooted in 18th century Enlightenment thinking, was that progress requires that the past be abandoned for the future. True progress in an evolutionary linear fashion, true progress necessitates that we be liberated, emancipated from the old, outdated traditions and customs that are now racist and bigoted and phobic, precisely because the present, by definition, is always superior to what preceded it. So burying the artifacts of Christendom was in many ways just baked into the cake of modernity itself. The Soviets they were just particularly brutal at it. Fast forward to December 25th, 1991. The Soviet Union, the most atheistic regime in human history, collapsed on Christmas Day. Don't tell me God doesn't have a sense of humor. The world held its breath. What's going to replace it? They weren't quite sure what to make of Yeltsin's sort of drunken new leader. But many scholars, like Frank Fukuyama, actually believed that Russia was going to be the next great liberal world power. And then, within 10 years, the world was astonished to witness scenes like this. This is a near exact replica of the cathedral that we just saw destroyed by the Bolsheviks. It's Cathedral of Christ our Savior, which was built on the very spot that it was demolished. Actually, Stalin had a swimming pool, an Olympic-sized swimming pool built over it. That has now been covered up, and that's what you're seeing rise in its place. And every single Easter, Russian President Vladimir Putin is in attendance at the midnight Easter Mass, standing in the place Tsar Nicholas would have stood, as once again the self-proclaimed defender of traditional values and Orthodox Christianity in the world. It's an astonishing scene. No one imagined in a million years this would return. And for Russians, it's filled with a lot of theological significance. It's widely believed among Russians, I've talked with them about this, that the Soviet period they lived under, which lasted 70 years, was their Babylonian exile. And if you know your Bible, Jeremiah 25, how long was the Babylonian exile? 70 years, right? A perfect Sabbath, as it were. Just as Israel's 70-year exile ended with return and the reconstruction of the temple under Cyrus, so Russia's 70-year atheist captivity has ended with cathedral reconstruction and Christian renewal. And this is a very powerful theology in Russia right now. Today, according to the latest numbers, the Russian Federation has rebuilt upwards of 30,000 churches since the fall of the Soviet Union. Back in 1991, just after the Soviet Union disbanded, surveys found that about 30% of the population identified as Christian. Today, that number is over 80%. All of the 1,000 monasteries are back in operation, and the seminaries are bustling. And the Russian Federation is once again proclaiming itself, for right or for wrong, as the center of a renewed worldwide Christendom. What on earth is going on here? Truth is stranger than fiction, is it not? Well, As it turns out, what's happening in Russia is not that different from what's happening literally all over the world. In a word, it's called civilizationalism. After decades of secular liberal globalism dominating the world order, something extraordinary has been happening of late that very few scholars predicted. A few of them did. Sam Huntington of Harvard predicted it back in the late 80s. What's happening is we're seeing nothing less than the great ancient civilizations of the past rising up in almost kaiju-like fashion. Sorry, I'm a little nerd on that. From the depths below and returning in all of their splendor all over the world. Russian Orthodoxy, Confucian China. President Xi doesn't refer to China as communist anymore. He calls it Confucian. Hindu nationalist India, Shinto Japan, Ottoman Turkey, and here in our own backyard, MAGA. Now notice, though, because it's the same pattern you're seeing everywhere else. Make America great again. We have to go back to the past in order to have a flourishing future. All of these movements, Hindu India, Confucian China, Shinto Japan, Orthodox Russia, they're all recognizing the modern world's done us wrong. It's steered us in a very bad direction. And what we have to do is we have to go back and find where we got off the path, recover, recoup, and move forward. Pick up where we left off. And so what's happening here is that religion is coming back and, in effect, taking its rightful place as the sacred center of society. And that's why religion's not only going through this renewal that scholars talk about, but it's going through a rematerialization and a renaissance of sacred art and architecture and music and liturgy as the cultural transmitters of this renewal.
Get up to speed every morning in under 5 minutes. Patriot Alerts, free, daily, no fluff. Visit the link below and sign up right now.